I guess um if if I'm going to record, or if I'm going to post videos and record videos that are real and honest and show the truthfulness about life, my life anyway, well, people's lives, because I'm sure I'm not the only one who has gone through this. um I guess then I need to use my platform to do what it, I need to do, or I don't know. It felt right. It felt like this is what I was supposed to do, so I'm gonna do it. Um, hmm. I'm not sure how to start and figure out how I'm trying to say what I'm trying to say, but I'll do my best. Um, I guess I'll start out by saying, uh, every everything happens for a reason. Everyone is here for a reason. We all go through certain situations and events and experience things for a reason. Everybody is here to do something. And I always wanted to know, and I always tried to figure out, well, what's that for me? What am I here for? What's my assignment or my purpose? Like what's my reason? And I'll just say it, because like I said, I'm not here to hide anything or try to be disingenuous, or whatever the word is. I should just speak from my heart, because that's what I always do, and display my real feelings. And so I guess what I wanted to say about that is, I feel like when people have experienced a lot of pain, people go through a lot of like hard situations in their life, and sometimes they feel like really alone. um I'm trying to figure out how to say what I need to say without it sounding like a cry for help, or like I'm in trouble or something, because I'm not in trouble. It's just I've come to a realization, maybe had like somewhat of a revelation, or whatever you want to call it, and I felt like I needed to get on camera to say it, because I feel like it's just something I needed to share, because maybe it's for someone, maybe someone needed to hear it. um I'll say it like this. For those who believe in the man Jesus, um how he came to earth to die for the sins of others, so that everyone's sins could be forgiven. I I kind of was going through something just a minute ago. Um and I wondered, for those who believe that Jesus was a real person, and I go back and forth. Sometimes I believe he was real, and sometimes I believe that it may have been somewhat of a fabrication. I don't know. Maybe parts of it are real, maybe parts of it are not. But either way, assuming that he was a real person, is a real person, um, I kind of wonder sometimes, did he ever have to go through pain? Because if you think about it, he didn't write his own story. Other people wrote his story from their perspective. What word did he ever write? He didn't record his own story. And I just wonder sometimes, did he ever go through pain and suffer through like emotional, not just the physical pain, because obviously he went through pain, he was killed. And I wonder if that hurt him, his heart. It hurt him emotionally. That he was so hated and he knew he wasn't there to hurt people. Because the last thing he ever would want to do is hurt somebody. And yet everyone wanted to hurt him. You ever wonder if he felt hurt emotionally that people hated him so much? I wondered that sometimes. Especially when I go through certain things and feel certain things. And I'm like, I know myself. I know my heart. And I know I don't have bad intentions. And the last thing I would ever want to do is intentionally hurt somebody. I'm not that way. And I wonder to myself sometimes, man, did Jesus ever feel hurt, unloved, worthless, sad, regretful that he took on the assignment to come to earth and decide to die for a bunch of people that don't even like him, don't even want. I wonder, did he ever feel thoughts of suicide? Because I'm not suicidal. I'm just putting that out there. I'm not suicidal. However, I understand the emotional pain of those who feel so much pain in their heart that they have to get it out somehow. They have to make it tangible somehow so that they can understand why they hurt so much. If you get stabbed, you're hurting because obviously you just got stabbed. Like, that makes sense. But emotional pain just sometimes doesn't make any sense. So much to the point that you want to hurt yourself to feel something that makes sense. The physical pain makes sense. The emotional pain sometimes does not make sense. And I understand those who would want to hurt themselves. Do I think you should? No, I don't think you should. And I, at this point, not to say that I'm so great of a person, but I, at this point, kind of understand if Jesus ever felt that way, I understand why. And, he understood the love of his Father, and he understood, how intense that is, the love of his Father. So that's probably how he always received his strength, because he had to go to his Father to ask him for strength, because maybe he didn't feel loved, even though he loved everybody else. And maybe he didn't feel worthy, or maybe he felt stupid. Maybe he's like, okay, what did I make this decision for? What am I even doing here? Nobody even wants me here. I should just take my own life. How do you know he didn't go through that? And the fact that he was human, maybe he did go through that. And he had to go through that so that nobody else ever had to go through that again. And I kind of understand that if that's how he ever had to feel. And I'm only crying because I feel for other people who may feel that way. I'm fine. I'm not necessarily feeling that way right now. It's just that I understand it, and I just feel bad for people who go through that. So I guess I just should say you're not alone. Don't feel like you're alone. Everybody goes through pain, and everybody hurts. And everybody has something going on in their life. They wish that they could escape. Everyone has something going on in their life that they wish they could stop feeling. And sometimes people think the only escape is to take their own life. Like, just don't do that. I don't know what else to say, but don't do that. Because if you think about it, like, if Jesus really came to die for other people, and he went through all that pain so nobody else had to, and then you take your own life, what did he do it for? Like, what was the point? So, I don't know for people who don't necessarily believe in that. I'm sorry, my face is so icky right now, but this is what I go through a lot. Because I do love people a lot, and I feel bad for people who have to feel pain for no reason. So, so just know you're not alone. You're not alone. So, if you have nobody else to reach out for or reach out to, at least just remember that if Jesus was a real person, I'm sure he felt the same thing you felt. It just doesn't make sense that he wouldn't. He was a real person. If he had human feelings, and he was a human at one point. So he had to go through everything humans had to go through so that nobody else would ever have to. So I guess maybe that's, for people who are Christians, and for even non-Christians, for people who are looking for something, it's there. I don't know. I just don't want to be offensive to anybody. Like, I don't know. That's me second guessing again. I do this a lot too. I'm always second guessing myself. And sometimes I feel like I'm doing something, like, I feel stupid. Like, oh yeah, you. Well, either way, I felt like I needed to do it, so I'm doing it. That's how I am. If it felt like something that needed to be said at the time it needed to be said, I have to do it. Because how do I know that it might not help somebody else? How do I know that it might not reach somebody else? How do I know that I'm not supposed to do it while I'm sitting here second guessing myself, thinking I'm not supposed to do it? So, I don't know. I guess hopefully this message reaches somebody that needed to hear it. I guess the takeaway would be that you are loved. You're loved, and even if you feel like nobody on this earth loves you, maybe nobody on this earth does, but somebody else does. Somebody else much more powerful and much more important and matters more than anybody else on the earth that you can find. So be that Jesus. That's who I learned about. That's the name that I have. I don't know any other name. So if you have another name, then you approach that with that name. Or I don't know. I don't know. So, well, I'm gonna end this video and try to get myself together. And go on with my day. I do have things to do. I just kind of got a little sidetracked because yes, these are my personal feelings. Yes, I was just going through something that triggered the tears. I guess I'll just show you something. My notebook. This was, and it's gonna be backwards. I'm sorry, but I wanted you to see. I was just writing down because I needed to make it tangible. This is how I made it tangible for me. I'm sure the thoughts may have run through my mind of just like, give yourself some physical pain to end the emotional pain, but this is how I made it tangible. I picked up my marker, I got my notebook, I said, let me just write down every word that is describing how I'm feeling right now. These are all the words I came up with. So this is a real situation. Yes, I really was going through something. Yes. this is something that I am affected by. But it's, as I thought about it, because I'm not, I didn't think it would be right to go through with what I was really thinking. I said, how can I use this as a moment to help somebody else? How can I use this as something to not only help myself, because I was in a minute where I was like, okay, I got to get myself together. I've done a lot of introspection and a lot of growing. I said, I don't want to go backwards, so how can I get myself together so I get out of this hole that I just dug and jumped into? So that was the way that I did it. And then all of a sudden it came to me that maybe I should record this and document this and post it, because it could help somebody else to see that people really do go through situations, no matter how strong they look on the outside, no matter how strong they appear to society, and their peers. We all go through things. And that's how I pulled it together this time. In this particular moment, I said, okay, let me sit down, let me write out everything that I'm going through. And then after I did that, all these thoughts came to me, and instead of feeling pity for myself, I started to feel in my heart for empathy for how other people must have felt. And then it made me think of, well, if I feel this way, what if Jesus felt this way? Like, what if there was someone who, okay, so this is what I literally thought. I'm like, if I could do what Jesus did and just die for everyone's pain, so no one would ever have to feel this again, I would do it. Because at that point, that's what I felt like. I'm just like, if I have to be the one to just take away the pain from the world, so that, like, if I feel this horrible, and me dying right now would just stop everything that's going on in the world, I would do it. And that's how bad I felt. And then that made me think, wow, so if I feel that way, then what if Jesus had to go through those things? And he already died, so it's not my responsibility. So it's already been done, and that's kind of how I felt. I'm like, and that made me feel better. Realizing that I don't have to kill myself to get rid of my pain. Someone already died to do that for me. Now all I have to do is reach out to him. I guess they throw your burdens on him. And that was what came to me. So that's why I'm saying it, because maybe I'm supposed to, so that other people can understand you don't have to take your own life. You don't have to take your own life. Somebody already died so that you don't have to do that. You don't have to feel that pain. You don't have to feel that burden. It's not your responsibility. It's not your your load. You don't have to have that load. You can, what does the scripture say? To share your yoke with the Lord. Or, I can't remember the scripture, but sometimes I remember scriptures, because I it was part of my journey to get where I am now. And he will carry your burden for you, or something like that. I can't remember. Somebody will remember. Hopefully someone will correct me. If anybody sees this, someone will correct me exactly where that can be found. But that's kind of what I came to. I'm talking too much. I said I was going to end this video like 10 minutes ago. So I am going to end this video now. I am not going to edit this. I never do. I'm just going to put it out there. And hopefully it reaches somebody that needed it. So, love you guys, and I'm not the only one. So, okay, bye.